The future of money is simple, and it's here. Download the new M-Pesa app today.
Business, broadcast your sermon, share birthday wishes, make funeral announcements, produce adverts and documentaries, then book and advertise with us today by calling us on +254 700 893 542
700 893 542
or email us on sales@luke-up.tv.
Welcome to Look Up Guest House, Retreat and Prayer Center. When you first come in, we will be happy to receive you at our reception, then proceed to our cozy and well-equipped accommodation facilities. We aim to provide our guests with a unique, comfortable, and worthwhile experience. Here at Look Up Guest House, we provide our guests with a continuous supply of room amenities. A cool environment for all your retreat activities.
Look Up Guest House, Retreat and Prayer Center. For reservation, contact us on info@lookupguesthouse.org or call us on 0746 788 707.
Joya.
Somebody say, give me a place to stand and I remove the world. The church was the place to stand.
So what you're saying is that the churches that are allowing the politicians to come and even do the fundraisers are not being genuine in the gospel.
These are subversive pamphlets, my sermons. He declared them subversive. From that time, I went to the headline, Moi went to page 2 of all newspapers. They would have gone to Mount Kenya to arm this man for Kohoma Laita, Nejohoma Laita, Garoe Bara. Donald Trump said, Africa is a shithole.
And now in this sense, you accept that it is the churches
the church is being used by politicians like they are shithole.
So if the ICC was never
Not
there,
Ruto
Ruto would
not,
never be there.
Ruto would not have been there. Anybody want to do research would have gone with the government document because the people, they didn't have consciousness of knowledge as power.
Yeah.
You can see Kenyatta dancing with his wife. He would have kept his family and the country. Now he lost both the country and his family. So these judges who are there were very clever to know that Joa was right. There must be eternal crosses.
So in here we have
Things you shouldn't see because they are government.
wow.
Like, follow, subscribe, click the notification button. Join the Look Up TV movement now. Now.
Trending news right here with me, Nelson Adina, and I'm ready to give you stories that are making headlines in Kenya, Africa, and the rest of the world in less than 30 minutes or so. But first, let's take a look at the highlights. Ahead on Trending News today, LSK President Nelson Havi moves to court seeking conservatory orders against further implementation of the CBC. We tell you how governors have choreographed a well-thought-out scheme that will see them enjoy hefty retirement packs with their wives. And a report by KNBS 2021 reveals the decline in crime rate from 2019 to 2020 as Chief Justice Martha Koome says all cases to be completed within 3 years. And the hashtag is Trending News at LookUpTV on Twitter, LookUpTV on Facebook, and you can also engage with me using the SMS number 20374. Let's trend together. The bulletin begins now. Secondary schools will retain their status as national extra county, county and sub-county under the new curriculum, and the criterion on how the Education Ministry will place the CBC learners to secondary school still remains hazy. David Kasimbele now reports.
The confirmation that schools will retain their status has raised concerns over the possibility of a learner's merit in primary school determining which secondary school they will join. Kenya Parents Association Chairman Nicholas Maiyo says this will raise concerns over the possible return of cutthroat competition to secure slots in top national schools under the new curriculum. The Principal Secretary of the new State Department for Implementation of Curriculum Reforms within the Education Ministry, Fatuma Chege, however, downplayed this possibility, noting that the categorization of schools is not related to the learner's outcome. Fatuma spoke during an engagement on the progress of the new curriculum with the Kenya Editors Guild. Chege said that the focus is to ensure that children will transit to schools well equipped to ensure they meet the educational requirements in junior secondary school. Chege added that the label of national schools, extra county, county, sub-county will not define the quality of education. It is what happens inside a school and inside a class space and what happens in the school environment that defines the quality of education. The National Examination Council Chief Executive Officer David Njegere backed up the argument, noting that the purpose of the formative assessment is to ensure that students get enough skills in this education system. Njegere said that the pioneer class of the new curriculum will be transiting to junior secondary school, commonly known as JSS, in 2023. Currently, they are in grade 5 and will be in grade 6 and the final stage of their primary school next year. Under the new curriculum, the transition of grade 6 to secondary school will be based on a hybrid model involving a combination of CATS, that is the classroom assessment techniques, and the NEC tests. Learners will be required to take CATS at the end of grade 4, 5, and 6 that will be part of their aggregate score at the end of primary school. The new system has been touted as the key that will reduce a mass pressure on the need to pass examinations and make it to schools revered for academic excellence. CBC learners will sit a final exam at the end of primary school like KCPE, but it won't be the sole determinant of secondary school. Each CAT will carry 20% of the final mark. This means that the 3 CATs will cumulatively account for 60% of the final score. The remaining 40% will be from the Kenya National Examination Council exam to be administered at the end of grade 6. The cumulative score the learner will get will determine the secondary school they will join, and however, it is clear how pathways will be adopted in various schools. Njegere said that in junior secondary school, the learners will be introduced to all pathways. This is to help them build interest in their strong areas and what they will seek to specialize in when they join senior secondary school. David Kasembeli, Look Up TV, Nairobi.
And still on matters CBC, a conversation that has been making headlines in the last 2 weeks. The Law Society President Nelson Harvey has filed a petition in court to stop the implementation of the competence-based curriculum. The urgent application was filed by Harvey on Thursday on behalf of the petitioner, a parent and High Court advocate Esther Angawa. The petitioner says the new curriculum entails a change in the country's education system, a responsibility only carried out by Parliament under the law.
Harvey and the petitioner have asked that the case be heard and determined by an odd-numbered bench of judges, not less than 5. In their submission, Angawa and her lawyer Harvey argued that the reason the champions of the anti-CBC petition are asking for a bench of 5 or more judges is to address the serious questions raised by the petitioner in regard to the new CBC learning curriculum. The petition refers to the Basic Education Act that says the country's education system can only be changed by Parliament. The petitioner also argues that a change from old education system has consequently affected the structure of basic education without amending the already existing Basic Education Act. It says that the new CBC structure has blurred the distinction between primary education and secondary education as laid out in the previous 844 system. In her petition, Angawa also presented an affidavit to show that basing the new CBC on recent laws such as the 2017 Basic Education Curriculum Framework of 2017 and the 2019 sessional paper on curriculum reform directly breaches provisions of the Constitution and the Basic Education Act. The petitioner has mentioned the main proponents responsible for the execution of the competence-based curriculum, including Education CS George Magoha, the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development KICD, and the Kenya National Examination Council NEC, saying the continued execution of the CBC system is discriminatory towards many of Kenya's school-going children. Angawa says implementation of the CBC is infringing on the free and compulsory primary education since some of the requirements on learners and parents are too expensive for many Kenyan learners. The petitioner has mentioned the large number of textbooks and other learning materials that parents are expected to buy in the new practical-centered curriculum, saying the system designers are insensitive to the socio-economic dynamics of many Kenyans, especially during these extraordinary pandemic times. On his side, CS Magoha has in the past clapped back at those criticizing the CBC, saying the CBC train has already left the station and there is no way for those opposed to the curriculum to halt its advancement. He has termed those questioning it as politically motivated and only after portraying the government as having done nothing. Magoha has on other occasions termed the CBC as President Kenyatta's legacy project. Waris Kimathi, Look Up TV in Nairobi.
Waris Kimathi for that report. And now I take you all the way to Turkana County, where more than 80% of Kenya's barrels of oil's reservoir, estimated at 2.85 billion, remains inaccessible for commercial exploitation due to limitations in extraction technology. This is according to British oil firm Tullow. A new audit on the Turkana oil fields revealed by British firm Tullow a larger reservoir, commonly referred to as oil initially in place in exploration parlance, compared to the previous estimate of 1.77 billion barrels. This comes after Tullow Oil presented a draft field development plan to Kenya for the Turkana oil project, reviving hopes for oil production. A development update report indicates Africa Oil and its joint venture partners plan to submit a finalized FDP by year-end in line with license extension requirements provided by the Kenyan government last December. The commercially extractable volume climbing 585 million barrels from the previous estimate of 433 million barrels, according to the audit by British petroleum consulting firm Gaffney Klein Associates. The OIIP is different from actual proven oil reserves because it presents the total amount of crude oil that is potentially in a reservoir and not the amount of oil that can be recovered from commercial use. At the current crude price of $75.50 a barrel, the potential crude in the reservoir will be valued at 23.66 trillion shillings, equivalent to 2 times Kenya's DGP, while the proven commercially viable reserves are valued at 4.86 trillion shillings. Kenya would not, however, earn the whole amount when production starts, with a big percentage going towards production and shipping costs. For instance, Tullow estimates that it will cost 373 billion shillings to set up a crude pipeline and processing facilities on the oil fields. The firm is also entitled to recover its exploration costs from the crude sales, which further eats into the country's earnings from the commodity. Countries with oil deposits periodically update the estimates or recoverable reserves as extraction technology evolves. In the U.S., the development of better hydraulic fracturing techniques targeting oil deposits deep underground have helped double the country's oil production since 2006. Tullow added that it had made the higher estimates of extractable volumes due to a bigger facility processing capacity, additional wells to be drilled, and larger diameter crude oil export pipeline, which lowers the unit cost per barrel to $22 from $31 previously. The firm said based on the new plan, it will be able to produce 120,000 barrels of oil per day from an earlier estimated 72,000 barrels. Kenya has already tested the international market with shipments of crude. Tullow has yet to develop the field for commercial production more than 9 years after it fast-tracked oil in Turkana, attributing the delay to factors such as unfavorable global oil prices since 2014, approval delays for land and water rights, a tax dispute, and COVID-19 disruptions. The firm and its partners in the project, Africa Oil and Total, had initially planned to reach a final investment decision in 2019 and production of the first oil between this year and next year. Tullow has already presented the Kenya government with a draft comprehensive investment plan for oil production in Turkana, looking to beat a government deadline to do so by the end of this year or risk losing the concession. Tullow expects the Ministry of Petroleum to peruse the plan and provide feedback before it presents a final plan by December. Approval of the investment plan will see the firm kick off plans to build the infrastructure, including the 825-kilometer heated pipeline to evacuate Kenya's oil. Nancy Nelima, Look Up TV. Now, for a process that began about 10 years ago, is the process of excavation a little too lengthy, as are the thoughts of the residents of Turkana County? Let me know what your thoughts are using the SMS number 20374. We'll take a very short break, but there is so much more on the other side.
Grow your business, broadcast your sermon, share birthday wishes, make funeral announcements, produce adverts and documentaries, then book and advertise with us today by calling us on +254 700 893 542
700-893-542
or email us on sales@look-up.tv.
The future of money is simple, like unlocking possibilities with a smile. And having the world in the palm of your hand. It's the ability to touch many lives at the same time and turn your dreams into reality. It's forgetting and still remembering. Simple is having everything that you love in one place. From the ticket to your next meal, to your ticket to the next holiday. It's an easy way to ask for a boost when you're low. And keeping track of everything on the go. The future of money is simple, and it's here. Download the new M-Pesa app today.
Please make those payments and take dinner out the freezer. Enjoy your day off.
Hey.
How was your day?
Great.
Did you pay the bills?
Abby did it.
And the plumber?
Abby did it.
Send money to your mom?
Abby did it.
Who's Abby?
Bank on WhatsApp with Abby, your 24/7 digital personal banker. Another digital innovation that gets things done. That's Africanacity. That's ABSA.
Did you take dinner out the freezer?
Like, follow, subscribe, click the notification button. Join the Lookup TV movement now. Now.
Nancy and Lima here, ready to give you stories that are making headlines at this hour trending. And you can also let me know what's trending at this hour where you are using the SMS number 20374 and also on our socials at Lookup TV on Twitter and Lookup TV on Facebook. Let's continue. The government of Taita Taveta, in partnership with the Go Blue Economy Program under the Jumuiya ya Counties of Pwani JKP, is set to revive over 350 fish ponds within Taita Taveta in a bid to produce over 50 million fingerlings. According to the County Executive Committee member in charge of the Fisheries Department, Honorable Davis Mwangoma, the county has for years relied on fingerlings from Sagana, a move he says has necessitated the need to feature fishing industry empowerment programs as part of the Blue Economy benefits. Speaking at Dembwa, Mwatete Sub-County, when overseeing field training for fish farmers, Mwangoma applauded the JKP Empowerment Initiative and poverty eradication.
Zaidi ya 350 zingine ambazo hazifanyi kazi. Na katika muda huu ambao tuko nao, tumesema kwamba ni lazima tufufue hiyo vidimbwi vya samaki. Ukiona vidimbwi ambavyo tuko navyo kwa kaunti hii, wengi wakulima wamekufa moyo kwa sababu pengine ya kukuza samaki alafu wanakufa kwa sababu ya kusema kwamba hakuna chakula ya kufanya nini. Kwa hivyo ni lazima tuwe na masomo ambayo itawezesha wakulima kuinua ukuzaji wa samaki kwa vidimbwi. Tunataka samaki hiyo biashara, wakulima wajue ni biashara. Kwa hivyo ni biashara na vile vile ni chakula yenu, nutrition. Hiyo aspect ya improve nutrition kwa wananchi. So hapa Dembwa tumesema tutaset sehemu ya kuuzia samaki ambayo itakuwa inatolewa na vijana hapa. Kwa hivyo wawe na duka yao hapa karibu.
Changamoto kubwa ile nilionayo ni maji natumia piped water ya community, ambayo maji yenyewe ni running water, pakiwa mvua iko yako yakiondoka yanapungua sana. Na nilikuwa naomba kupitia Madam Masi na ofisi yako waziri, nione naweza saidika vipi, hata kama ni pengine kusaidiwa kuchimbiwa kisima pale, na kiwe ni kwangu lakini kiwe ni cha community.
Sisi tumepata moyo katika ufugaji wa samaki. Mara mingi ufugaji wa samaki haujafanyika sana, hana hujatiliwa mkazo. lakini sasa sisi kama wakulima tumepata moyo, na sisi tutashirikiana na nyinyi county government, tutaweka nguvu yetu hapo, na chochote kile kitakachopita kulingana na hizi miradi za samaki tuwe tukishirikiana, tuwezeshane. Mara mingi wakulima wengi wako na challenge nyingi. Kila wakulima wako na challenges zake.
Kuna kosi 4 ambazo vijana watakuwa wanafunzwa, na zote zinaendanisha na Go Blue na maneno ya maji. Moja yao ikiwa hospitality na tourism. Vijana watakuwa wanafunzwa hospitality na tourism, na pia kuna kosi ya boat maintenance and repair, na kosi ya 3 ni marine security, na kosi ya 4 ni marine logistics. So vijana wetu ambao wamefanya kidato cha 4 na hawajapata kazi ama hawajapata ajira ama hawajaendelea na masomo, kuna link ile ambayo wakati watu wanachukuliwa inatumwa kwa stakeholders, kisha vijana wanapata kujisajili pale na wanachaguliwa kwa bahati nasibu. So hakuna cha nani yajua nani ama vipi. So kijana akishachaguliwa pale ataenda katika vocational training center ambayo iko karibu na yeye.
Chulafunye nani chokwade chulakufu.
Right, now the number of criminal cases reported to police dropped to 25% last year. This is according to the government's Economic Survey 2021, which was conducted by the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, KNBS. KNBS also found that 8 out of 10 people who are reported for criminal offences are men. Calvin Kodala with that story.
A total of 69,645 cases were reported at police stations in the country last year. This number dropped by 25.4% from the 93,411 cases reported in 2019. In the Economic Survey 2021 report, Kenya National Bureau of Statistics has indicated that criminal cases dropped as a result of restrictions put in place to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. Restrictions on movement and curfew have been cited as possible reasons behind the decline in crime. According to the report, cases of theft that were reported to police stations declined by 16%, cases of break-ins declined by 28%, and cases involving people accusing other persons declined by 29%. The report further indicates that such cases of persons reporting others composed 27% of total cases reported in 2020. Even though the total number of cases being reported declined, cases of homicide rose by 4.7% from 2,971 in 2019 to 3,111 in 2020. Cases involving crimes against morality also increased by 13.7% during the pandemic period. Some of the crimes against morality include prostitution, pornography, and bigamy. The report also found that a total of 65,083 persons were reported to police for various offences last year. Out of this number, 54,035 were men, while 11,048 were women. This means that 83% of people reported for crime last year were men. Although the total number of cases declined last year, Kenyans have continued to complain of the slow legal process across the country's courts. In response, Chief Justice Martha Koome has declared that all court cases will not take more than 3 years. Calvin Kodalo, Look Up TV, Nairobi.
And let us continue. Governors have come up with a well-thought-out plan that will see them enjoy hefty retirement packs with their wives included in the deal. Through the County Assemblies Forum, the governors in a sitting submitted a bill proposing to pay retiring county governors, their deputies, speakers, and members of the County Assemblies MCs lucrative packs even after the exit office. The forum is banking on the county assemblies to approve the bill so that the retired officials would get their packs from the county coffers. According to the bill, they have allocated to retiring governors a lump sum of 1 year's salary, with which the current payout of 924,000 per month brings the total pay to 11.1 million. In addition, they have proposed a monthly pension of 80% of 924,000, which amounts to 739,200 for the rest of their lives. Upon demise, their spouses received 50% of the monthly pension. For retired deputy governors, the bill proposes a lump sum of payout of 7.45 million shillings a year. That is from their current monthly salary of 621,250. Right, and it's about time for me to take you across the borders, what's trending across Africa and the rest of the world. Isaac Kamali of Rwanda has been charged in France following the 1994 genocide in Rwanda. He has been on France's judicial radar since 2009. Shifting to Rwanda's politics, mysterious deaths of political opponents in Rwanda has raised eyebrows with fingers pointing at the Kagame regime. Cecilia Lubanga with more on our international roundup.
Kamali, born Rwandan, has been charged in France in relation with the 1994 genocide in Rwanda. Isaac has been on France's judicial radar since 2009, charged with genocide and crime against humanity. Kamili, who hails from central Rwanda, was an employee at the Ministry of Transport during the genocide, which UN says left more than 700,000 Tutsis dead. The anti-terrorist prosecutor said the suspect disputed the charges against him during his first appearance before the French judge. Isaac Kamali was sentenced to death in absentia by a court in Rwanda in 2003, but the sentence was later declared invalid due to charges in Rwandan law, according to a French-based Victims Association, the collective of civil plaintiffs for Rwanda. He is wanted for Rwandan justice, but France has refused to hand him over. Mysterious death of political opponents in Rwanda has raised eyebrows, with the latest being the death of a former Rwandan lieutenant who got sprayed with bullets by gunmen near his home in Maputo. His previous plaintiff to kill him in 2016 was foiled as he had unexpectedly changed the vehicle he was traveling in. International rights groups claim that opposition politicians, activists and journalists in Rwanda and abroad have been killed or disappeared after criticizing Kagame or his party. Revocant had settled in Mozambique after being driven out of the home country in 1994. The Rwandan government has, however, denied any involvement in the murder. Rwandan journalist Tamuhanga Kassian disappeared in Maputo in May after being taken into custody by Mozambique police. Claims have it that he was handed over to Rwanda. The leading Rwandan opposition politician and a member of the Rwandan National Congress was shot dead in South Africa. A week prior to his murder, he had led a memorial service for Rwandan opposition activists killed worldwide. The three are among a list of more than 10 politicians, activists and other individuals of Rwandan origin killed under mysterious circumstances. Crossing over to West Africa, the West African bloc ECOWAS imposed sanctions against the Guinea ruling military during the regional summit and those slowing down Mali's post-coup transition. This was in response of last week's violent attempt to overthrow a government in Guinea. Regional heads of state froze financial assets and banned Guinea's junta members and their relatives from traveling. The bloc pressurized Mali's transitional government, asking them to stick to a consensus to organize elections for February 2022 and present an election roadmap by next month. West and Central Africa has witnessed coups since last year. Coup leaders in Guinea are holding agreement meetings this week with various figures in the country to map a framework for the sanction. They also expect a delegation of regional heads of state to visit Conakry for talks today. Still focusing on Guinea, an outbreak of the deadly Marburg virus is declared over. It's less than 6 weeks since the first ever case of the disease was found. No further case has been confirmed. Closure of schools for more than a year amidst a ravaged economy by COVID is a devastating blow to millions of students in Indonesia. This has undermined Indonesia's President Joko Widodo's plan to create a top 5 global economy by 2045. The country already had a learning crisis prior to the pandemic. According to a World Bank report, the pandemic will leave more than 80% of 15-year-olds below the minimum reading proficiency level identified by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, a rise from 2018. The report estimated the loss of learning during the pandemic will cost students more than $250 billion in lifetime earnings. Many schools remain closed in Indonesia, making the country to develop an emergency simplified curriculum carried out on online classes. Cecilia Lubanga reporting for Lookup TV, Nairobi.
And we've come to the end of Trending News, and the weekend is right here with us. I don't know what you're going to be doing, but I'll tell you what's going to be trending this weekend, right here on Lookup TV, starting from tonight. Of course, Tariq Faku with Fiona Kinga at 7, Diaspora Fusion with Cecilia, and tomorrow being a Saturday, Why I Did It. And of course, on Sunday, we have the kids programming and our live broadcast, Going to Church with Us. That's all from me here. Nancy Lima, the hashtag is Trending News. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's continue to talk about what's trending at this hour and the rest of the weekend. Do have yourselves a pleasant evening.
We value your feedback and welcome your complaints about our programming and operations. Feel free to get in touch with us through 0700 893 542 or send us an email to views@look-up.tv. We can't wait to hear from you. Want to grow your business? Broadcast your sermon, share birthday wishes, make funeral announcements, produce adverts and documentaries? Then book and advertise with us today by calling us on +254 700 893 542.
700 893 542.
Or email us on sales@look-up.tv.
The future of money is simple, like unlocking possibilities with a smile and having the world in the palm of your hand. It's the ability to touch many lives at the same time and turn your dreams into reality. It's forgetting and still remembering. Simple is having everything that you love in one place. From the ticket to your next meal, to your ticket to the next holiday. It's an easy way to ask for a boost when you're low. And keeping track of everything on the go. The future of money is simple, and it's here. Download the new M-Pesa app today.
Joya, Joya.
Joya, Joya. Somebody say, give me a place to stand and I remove the world. The church was the place to stand.
So what you're saying is that the